Alright, what is up everybody? Welcome back to the RTBG show. My name is Jason Lee and I am your host for this podcast. In this podcast, we talk about productivity, creativity, and lifestyle. So if you want to learn more about those, start taking control of your life, consider subscribing so you don't miss another episode. Alright, in today's episode, we'll be actually talking about bad days. We're going to talk about why they ruin your mood, why they can really stress you out from time to time, and how can we stop bad days from ruining our mood? Alright, before we start the episode, I just want to say that it's amazing to be back. If you guys didn't know, I just got back from my trip to Seattle, Washington, and it's an amazing city and I absolutely love it there. And it's probably one of the most life-changing experiences for me personally. If you guys want to see more of traveling, of what I do on a daily basis, make sure you follow me on Instagram. I will leave it on the screen. And if you're listening, my Instagram handle is at LEJASONN_. All right, let's actually talk about why I actually wanted to talk about this subject or talk about this problem in the first place. So the other day, I think it was like maybe a week or two ago, I was in like a state where I couldn't do anything. I felt the worst that I've ever felt throughout the whole, ever since quarantine. I woke up late. I stayed in bed for hours. I didn't work out that much and I ate tons of crappy food. And it wasn't really a good, for me personally, it wasn't up to my standards. I was doing way better like weeks ago because I absolutely love working out. But for some reason, I just wasn't feeling it, the whole day and probably the whole week too felt crap. And I felt like something has to change. So after the week in Seattle, and now today is Monday. Okay, if you guys are listening to this, I think Thursday or probably even later than that. I don't know. But I'm recording this on Monday and today has been amazing. I've actually gotten way better at, my sleep schedule is way better now. I'm able to wake up earlier. It was an amazing experience to wake up early than the sun. So, but the reason that I told you guys this story and the reason why I think this story is important in the first place is to show you guys that I have bad days, that I'm not perfect in any ways, even though I do talk about this stuff, talk about self-development, talk about all these productivity stuff a lot, but I'm not perfect at all. And I definitely do have these phases and these time periods that are very difficult from time to time. I do have all of these problems for myself. That's why I talk about them in the first place. And the second reason is that I want to show that everybody, not just you, everybody has their own bad days and everybody have their own difficulties mentally sometimes because of different situations that people are in. But no matter where you are right now, hopefully that this episode can help you a whole ton. All right, a survey was done by a fitness app that shows that on average, people have 60 days of bad days, or like 60 bad days in a year. That's crazy, right? That's crazy to think that you have in a whole year, like 365 days, and you have 60 days that are like complete crap, that you don't feel anything at all, that you have like the worst mood, you have the worst possible way of actually continuing throughout your day with that kind of mood. I don't know about you, but 60 days is kind of a lot. But here's the first mistake, or the first tip that I really want to give you. A lot of people, they keep that energy, right? They keep that energy after maybe you had a bad day yesterday. I had an amazing day yesterday, but let's say yesterday I have the worst day. Let's say I got yelled at by my dad. Let's say things in church didn't go well. Let's say I drank coffee too late and I stayed up until like 5 a.m. or something like that. What most people would do, so whatever the problems is, they let the negative vibe that is within those problems just to carry on with them over and over and over again. Well, you got to realize one thing. Everybody's going to have a bad day. Everybody's going to feel different some days. Like to the best of people, like Bill Gates and Elon Musk, they're definitely gonna have bad days. It's more important that you know how to deal with bad days than to try to prevent bad days itself, because bad days, they're gonna happen anyways. So might as well just try to might as well know that and move on, right? I don't want you, or like most people, let the 60 bad days in a year ruin the rest 305 days. Let's say those 60 days are permanent. Let's say it is guaranteed that in a year, you're gonna have 60 bad days. But if you're gonna keep focusing on the 60 bad days and never look at the possibility that the other 305 days can be the most amazing days of your life, then you're never gonna enjoy those days, and you're gonna always be focused on the 60 days that's ruined your life. So another good analogy, or a good story I want to tell you. So let's say we're back to school. Actually, I think like I'm back to school in like maybe a couple of weeks. But anyways, we have textbook days. Like there are days that are dedicated to just getting textbooks. And I personally hate those days because we never use textbooks like most of the time. Half of them are beaten up and super heavy. And if you lose them, you're gonna have to pay over like $200, $300 for a bunch of information that you can definitely find on the internet. But you know, we still have to do them. It's probably for legal reasons anyways. But you know, textbook days usually are like super heavy. So, and when I have textbooks in my hand, of course, or like in my backpack, it's gonna be super heavy, right? And you know, I felt so much better. Like I think a lot of kids, a lot of people do feel better when they leave their textbook at home. They don't carry it with them the next day of school. And I know it sounds super simple. It sounds super realistic, and you probably be like, well, Jason, what the heck was that story for? Well, that's not what most people are doing with their negative vibes, with their negative mindset. They're not leaving it somewhere else. They're not leaving it behind, but they're carrying it with them every single day, or like they keep carrying with them the next day. Our human brain loves to hang on to those negativity things so that it never happens to us again. But what this does is just basically, it's like we're holding toxin inside of our hand and expect it to go away, right? You know, the moment that you learn to put away, to let go of your textbook, AKA your negative mindset, your bad day that happened to you before, all the bad events that happened to you, the more you learn, the more you were happy, the more you were prepared, the better your day will be. So that's step number one, is to let go of the bad day. If you had a bad day, right, let go. So don't let the 60 days ruin your 305 days. The second tip, or like the second idea that I want to instill on you guys is, instead we're talking, it's almost similar to the first tip, but instead we'll be actually talking about how you are letting the hours, the minutes, the seconds of your day ruining your mood, and how it can contribute to having a bad day. So did you know that there are 86,400 seconds in a day? That's an absurd amount of seconds right there. That was a second right there. But all right, let's say that you're going outside, or you're on the road, right? Let's say somebody cut you off. And that, only 10 seconds of your day, that was like an unfortunate event, or like you don't like that, right? Because it's inconvenient for us a lot of the time. But this is a lot of people like focus on that 10 seconds that they forgot that they have 86,400 seconds left in their whole entire day. And they would just only focus on the 10 seconds. I think the reason behind it is because people think that the events or what happens in our life is like dominoes. It's not. It's like, just because one event happened doesn't mean that the next event is going to be bad as well. It's only bad when you allow it to happen. And I know that there's a lot of things that we can't control, but if we keep focusing on the things that we can't really control, like other people's opinion, actions, and thoughts, we can't control that. Or what happens to us, we can't control that. But we can control our own emotions, our own actions, and our own thoughts. The only reason why a bad day really occurs is because you let 10 seconds, a minute, an hour, or 2 hours of your whole day ruin the rest of the time that you have, the rest of the time that you have so much left. If you really want bad days to stop, you really gotta stop like other people, or let something that can't be controlled ruining your day, ruining your mood. You know, I think a really good quote would fit in this area would be, it is by Trent Shelton. He says, "Somebody didn't wake up today, but you did. That's enough reason to stop complaining. And that's enough to be thankful for. Never let troubles blind you to your daily blessings. And the moment that I read this quote, it was amazing because, all right, somebody today didn't make it. And yet, if I'm here, I'm complaining about other things that didn't go right for me. What the heck am I? Like, it is amazing to think that the amount of complaining that we can do as human beings, and we forget about all the things that went right. So you probably also be wondering right now, be like, Jason, what the heck are we gonna do? I don't want little things to change my life anymore. I don't want my brain to go numb anymore. Well, I know sometimes it is definitely inevitable to not feel bad or like to not feel down. But here's something that you can do physically anyways. So I'm not gonna lie to you, this technique I did not come up to myself or did any research, as much research, but I do trust the source of this technique though. So I got it from the Mindset Mentor podcast. It's probably one of the best podcasts in the world. And I absolutely love this podcast. Rob Dial, which is the host of this podcast. If you haven't checked his podcast out already, I will leave a link in the show notes or in the description if you're watching the video. But he talked about how you can change the mindset or the current state of your brain just by simply breathing, like deep breaths. Just simply breathing could actually calm your body down and just put you in a different state. And you should definitely do this because it adds more oxygen to your brain. It helps you focus better. A lot of the time we act impulsively on emotions. And I think by doing this, every single time you are feeling down, you can collect your thoughts, you can collect yourself and say, hey, I have the control over my own actions, not somebody else, not something else. And stop that negative vibe from ruining the rest of your day or the rest of your week. And for me personally, I do push-ups. I absolutely love doing push-ups. In school, we do push-ups all the time because I was in ROTC, and it's just been a habit ever since the beginning of quarantine because, it's hard to wake up. It's hard for me to get out that state of like sluggish. So every single time I wake up, I went to the kitchen, I drink water, and I get on the ground and I do a couple of push-ups. It doesn't matter if it's only one push-up or 10 push-ups. I'm gonna do it because it wakes me up, it gets my body moving, and it changes my state of mind to get into something else. And then I can work on the things that I absolutely love. So every time you feel like your mental health or your brain is like, not at its best function or at its state where it's not gonna function the best, do something physical like breathing, push-ups, or you can even do handstands. You can even go outside, going for a walk, a run. This is why, a lot of people do recommend this because it disrupts your mental pattern. It disrupts like that bad vibe that is in your head. All right, so let's recap on how to not have a bad day or not letting bad days ruin you. So number one, let go of the bad days and start the next day fresh, right? Don't let the 60 days ruin the rest 305 days. And number two, don't let the 10 seconds ruin your 84,600 seconds in your day. Make sure you focus on the things that did go right. Don't focus on the things you can't control. Or number three, do something physical to disrupt a bad mental state. Do push-ups, pull-ups, whatever that you enjoy so that it gets you moving, it gets the ball rolling for you. Let's try, and instead thinking that, hey, there are exactly 60 days that I'm gonna have bad days, let's try to get that number down to 0. No more bad days, only days that push us forward. All right, that's it for this week's episode, guys. I hope you guys enjoy it. If you do, make sure you share it with a friend and family so that they can also listen and get more positivity, get more motivation in their life, because that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to help spread good vibes only. You can also subscribe to my channel at Jason Lee for more productivity and creativity content. All right, and as always, thank you so much for listening to this podcast, and I will see you on the next episode. Peace.